The musicians for worship. Next David and the worship leaders selected some from the family of Asaph, Heman, and Jeduthun for special service in preaching and music. Here is the roster of names and assignments. From the family of Asaph, Zaccur, Joseph, Nethaniah, and Asarelah, they were supervised by Asaph, who spoke for God backed up by the king's authority. From the family of Jeduthun there were 6 sons, Gedaliah, Zeri, Jeshaiah, Shimei, Hashabiah, and Mattithiah. They were supervised by their father Jeduthun, who preached and accompanied himself with the zither. He was responsible for leading the thanks and praise to God. From the family of Heman, Bukkiah, Mattaniah, Uzziel, Shubael, Jerimoth, Hananiah, Hanani, Eliathah, Giddalti, Romamti-Ezer, Joshbekashah, Mallothi, Hothir, and Mahazioth. These were the sons of Heman the king's seer. They supported and assisted him in his divinely appointed work. God gave Heman 14 sons and 3 daughters. Under their father's supervision they were in charge of leading the singing and providing musical accompaniment in the work of worship in the sanctuary of God. Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman took their orders directly from the king. They were well trained in the sacred music, all of them masters. There were 288 of them. They drew names at random to see who would do what. Nobody, whether young or old, teacher or student, was given preference or advantage over another. The first name from Asaph's family was Joseph and his 12 sons and brothers, second, Gedaliah and his 12 sons and brothers, third, Zaccur and his 12 sons and brothers, fourth, Zeri and his 12 sons and brothers, fifth, Nethaniah and his 12 sons and brothers, sixth, Bukkiah and his 12 sons and brothers, seventh, Asarelah and his 12 sons and brothers, eighth, Jeshaiah and his 12 sons and brothers, ninth, Mattaniah and his 12 sons and brothers, 10th, Shimei and his 12 sons and brothers, 11th, Asarelah and his 12 sons and brothers, 12th, Hashabiah and his 12 sons and brothers, 13th, Shubael and his 12 sons and brothers, 14th, Mattithiah and his 12 sons and brothers, 15th, Jerimoth and his 12 sons and brothers, 16th, Hananiah and his 12 sons and brothers, 17th, Joshbekashah and his 12 sons and brothers, 18th, Hanani and his 12 sons and brothers, 19th, Mallothi and his 12 sons and brothers, 20th, Eliathah and his 12 sons and brothers, 21st, Hothir and his 12 sons and brothers, 22nd, Giddalti and his 12 sons and brothers, 23rd, Mahazioth and his 12 sons and brothers, 24th, Romamti-Ezer and his 12 sons and brothers. The security guards. The teams of security guards were from the family of Korah, Meshelemiah son of Korah, one of the sons of Asaph. Meshelemiah's sons were Zechariah, the firstborn, followed by Jediel, Zebadiah, Jathniel, Elam, Jehohanan, and Elihonah, 7 sons. Obed-Edom's sons were Shimei, the firstborn, followed by Jehozabad, Joah, Zaccur, Nethanel, Amiel, Issachar, and Pulethi. God blessed him with 8 sons. His son Shimei had sons who provided outstanding leadership in the family, Othni, Rephael, Obed, and Elzabad. His relatives Elihu and Semachiah were also exceptional. These all came from the line of Obed-Edom, all of them outstanding and strong. There were 62 of them. Meshelemiah had 18 sons and relatives who were outstanding. The sons of Hosea the Merarite were Shimri. He was not the firstborn but his father made him first, then Hilkiah, followed by Tabaliah and Zechariah. Hosea accounted for 13. These teams of security guards, supervised by their leaders, kept order in the temple of God, keeping up the traditions of their ancestors. They were all assigned to their posts by the same method regardless of the prominence of their families. Each picked his gate assignment from a hat. Shelemiah was assigned to the east gate, his son Zechariah, a shrewd counselor, got the north gate. Obed-Edom got the south gate, and his sons pulled duty at the storehouse. Shuppim and Hosea were posted to the west gate and the Shelect gate on the high road. The guards stood shoulder to shoulder, 6 Levites per day on the east, 4 per day on the north and on the south, and 2 at a time at the storehouse. At the open court to the west, 4 guards were posted on the road and 2 at the court. These are the teams of security guards from the sons of Korah and Merari. Financial affairs, accountants and bookkeepers. Other Levites were put in charge of the financial affairs of the temple of God. From the family of Ladan, all Gershonites, came Jehieli, and the sons of Jehieli, Zetham and his brother Joel. They supervised the finances of the sanctuary of God. From the Amramites, the Azarites, the Hebronites, and the Uzzielites, Shubael, descended from Gershom the son of Moses, was the chief financial officer. His relatives through Eliezer, his son Rehabiah, his son Jeshaiah, his son Joram, his son Zaccur, and his son Shelomith. Shelomith and his relatives were in charge of valuables consecrated by David the king, family heads, and various generals and commanders from the army. They dedicated the plunder that they had gotten in war to the work of the worship of God. In addition, everything that had been dedicated by Samuel the seer, Saul son of Kish, Abner son of Nah, and Job son of Zeruiah, anything that had been dedicated, ever, was the responsibility of Shelomith and his family. From the family of the Ezerites, Hananiah and sons were appointed as officials and judges responsible for affairs outside the work of worship and sanctuary. From the family of the Hebronites, Hashabiah and his relatives, 1,700 well-qualified men, were responsible for administration of matters related to the worship of God and the king's work in the territory west of the Jordan. According to the family tree of the Hebronites, Jeriah held pride of place. In the 40th year of David's reign, his last, the Hebron family tree was researched and outstanding men were found at Jazer in Gilead, namely, Jeriah and 700 men of his extended family. David the king made them responsible for administration of matters related to the worship of God and the work of the king in the territory east of the Jordan, the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Military organization. Here is the listing of the sons of Israel by family heads, commanders and captains, and other officers who served the king in everything military. Army divisions were on duty a month at a time for the 12 months of the year. Each division comprised 24,000 men. First division, first month, Jashobeam son of Zabdiel was in charge with 24,000 men. He came from the line of Perez. He was over all the army officers during the first month. The division for the second month, Dodai the Ahohite was in charge, 24,000 men, Mikloth was the leader of his division. Commander for the third month, Benaiah son of Jehoiada the priest with 24,000 men. This was the same Benaiah who was a mighty man among the 30 and their chief. His son Ammizabad was in charge of the division. Fourth division for the fourth month, Asahel brother of Job, his son Zebadiah succeeded him, 24,000 men. Fifth division, fifth month, Commander Shamhuth the Israelite, 24,000 men. Sixth division, sixth month, Ira son of Akish the Tekoite, 24,000 men. Seventh division, seventh month, Helez the Pelonite, an Ephraimite, 24,000 men. Eighth division, eighth month, Sabekah the Hushathite, a Zerahite, 24,000 men. Ninth division, ninth month, Abiezer the Anathothite, a Benjaminite, 24,000 men. 10th division, 10th month, Maharai the Netophathite, a Zerahite, 24,000 men. 11th division, 11th month, Benaiah the Pirathomite, an Ephraimite, 24,000 men. 12th division, 12th month, Heldai the Netophathite from the family of Othniel, 24,000 men. Tribal administrators. Administrators of the affairs of the tribes, for Reuben, Elizur son of Zichri, for Simeon, Shephatiah son of Makkah, for Levi, Hashabiah son of Kemuel, for Aaron, Zadok, for Judah, Elihu. David's brother, for Issachar, Omri son of Michael, for Zebulun, Ishmael son of Obadiah, for Naphtali, Jerimoth son of Israel, for Ephraim, Hoshea son of Azachiah, for one half-tribe of Manasseh, Joel son of Pedaiah, for the half-tribe of Manasseh in Gilead, Iddo son of Zechariah, for Benjamin. Jasiel son of Abner, for Dan, Azarel son of Jeroham. These are the administrative officers assigned to the tribes of Israel. David didn't keep account of men under the age of 20, because God had promised to give Israel a population as numerous as the stars in the sky. Job son of Zeruiah started out counting the men, but he never finished. God's anger broke out on Israel because of the counting. As it turned out, the numbers were never entered into the court records of King David. Supply officers. The king's storage facilities were supervised by Azmaveth son of Adil. Jonathan son of Uzziel was responsible for the warehouses in the outlying areas. Ezri son of Caleb was in charge of the field workers on the farms. Shimei the Ramathite was in charge of the vineyards and Zabdi the Shiphmite was in charge of grapes for the wine vats. Baal-Hanan the Gedrite was in charge of the olive and sycamore fig trees in the western hills, and Joash was in charge of the olive oil. Shitrai the Sharonite was in charge of herds grazing in Sharon and Shaphat son of Adlai was in charge of herds in the valley. Obil the Ishmaelite was in charge of the camels, Jedaiah the Meronothite was in charge of the donkeys, and Jaziz the Hagrite was in charge of the flocks. These were the ones responsible for taking care of King David's property. David's counselors: Jonathan, David's uncle, a wise and literate counselor, and Jehiel son of Hakmoni, were responsible for raising the king's sons. Ahithophel was the king's counselor, Hushai the Archite was the king's friend. Ahithophel was later replaced by Jehoiada son of Benaiah and by Abiathar. Job was commander of the king's army.